Everyone thought she had the perfect relationship, but behind closed doors, the man she loved was slowly taking control of her life. And the moment he said, "You're mine," she knew something was terribly wrong. Adamma paced around her apartment, her heart racing with anxiety. The weight of expectations was suffocating her. She had heard it all before, from her well-meaning friends to her family, to the strangers who passed her on the street. When are you settling down? Why haven't you found the one yet? They all spoke in a tone that was both sympathetic and judgmental, as if her beauty alone should have made finding love a given. But no one understood the pain beneath her flawless exterior. At 28, Adamma should have been married by now. Her beauty had always been her strongest asset, and people couldn't stop talking about it. She was the kind of woman who would walk into a room and immediately command attention. Men fawned over her, and women couldn't help but admire her, even if they were secretly envious. But despite all the attention, Adamma felt more alone than ever. She wasn't looking for validation from the world. She longed for something deeper, something real. Yet the world insisted on treating her as if her beauty was all she had to offer. It was a Saturday afternoon when the realization hit her. Adamma stared at her reflection in the mirror, barely recognizing the woman staring back. She was beautiful, yes, but her eyes told a different story, one of exhaustion, frustration, and disappointment. The more she looked at herself, the more she realized how much she had given away to the world. She had given them her beauty, her time, and her energy. Yet what had she received in return? False admiration? Hollow compliments? She was tired of it all. Tired of pretending, tired of hoping, tired of trying to meet everyone else's expectations. She longed for something real, for a love that was about more than just her appearance. But where could she find it? Enough, Adamma whispered to herself, her voice trembling with emotion. She straightened her back and wiped the tear that had fallen down her cheek. I'm done. I'm done looking for love in the wrong places. It's time to love myself first. With that, a sense of peace settled over her. It wasn't an instant fix, but it was a start. Adamma decided that her focus would shift from pleasing others to pleasing herself. She threw herself into her career with a new sense of purpose, found hobbies that fulfilled her, and rekindled relationships with people who truly cared for her. For the first time in years, she felt like she was living for herself, not for anyone else. As the months went by, Adamma began to flourish. Her work as a marketing executive at a thriving tech company had taken off. She was promoted, praised for her dedication and sharp mind, and even began traveling for work, meeting new people and experiencing new cultures. She felt more confident than ever before, and the insecurity that had once held her back seemed like a distant memory. But despite her newfound self-love and success, Adamma still felt a void. She still wanted love. Real, honest, unconditional love. But she wasn't willing to settle. Not anymore. Then, one day she met him. His name was Eric, and everything about him seemed perfect. He was successful, charming, and attentive in a way that made Adamma feel seen. Their first date was magical. They shared stories about their childhood, laughed about silly things, and connected on a level that Adamma hadn't felt in years. It felt like the universe had finally sent her someone who understood her. For the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe love was still possible. Eric made her feel special, but more than that, he made her feel seen. He wasn't just attracted to her beauty, he valued her intellect, her sense of humor, and her dreams. He complimented her not just on her looks, but on everything that made her who she was. As the days turned into weeks, their relationship blossomed. Adamma was in love, and it seemed like everything was falling into place. She could see a future with Eric, a life filled with love, adventure, and mutual respect. But deep down, something didn't sit right with her. The same gut feeling that had kept her grounded for so long was warning her to slow down. Adamma ignored the signs at first. She didn't want to believe that something was wrong. But Eric's behavior started to change. His sweet, attentive nature began to shift. He became possessive, constantly questioning where she was, who she was with, and what she was doing. At first, she brushed it off as concern, but the control soon became overwhelming. One evening, Adamma had just returned from a business trip, and Eric was waiting for her at her apartment. He seemed upset. "Where have you been?" he demanded, his voice cold and stern. "I was at work, Eric. You know that. I told you I'd be gone for the day," Adamma replied, trying to remain calm. "I don't like how close you are with your colleagues," he snapped. "I don't trust them around you. You've changed, Adamma. You don't even have time for me anymore." Adamma's heart sank. This wasn't the man she had fallen for. The man she had met had been kind and thoughtful. Now he was possessive and insecure. She tried to explain, but he cut her off. "You're mine, Adamma. Don't forget that." The words hit her like a punch in the stomach. She had never been someone's possession. She had worked so hard to find her own worth and independence, only to find herself trapped in a relationship that mirrored the same suffocating pressure she had once experienced. That night, Adamma couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, tossing and turning, thinking about her life, her career, her dreams, and now this relationship. Was this what love was supposed to feel like? Was this really the person she wanted to spend her life with? No, it wasn't, and she knew it. The next morning, Adamma made a decision. She couldn't stay in a relationship that was toxic and manipulative. As much as she cared for Eric, she couldn't let him control her life. She was done. She wouldn't settle for someone who didn't respect her boundaries, her career, or her independence. She walked into the living room where Eric was sitting on the couch, and without a word, she said, "I'm leaving. This isn't healthy for either of us." Eric's face twisted with anger. "You're leaving me after everything I've done for you." Adamma stood tall, her heart racing, but her mind clear. "I'm leaving for me, Eric, not because of you. I've spent too long searching for validation in others. I've learned that my happiness comes from within, and I won't let anyone take that away from me." She grabbed her purse and walked out the door, leaving behind a relationship that had once seemed so promising. She walked out not defeated, but empowered, knowing that she had chosen herself over settling for something that would only hold her back. It wasn't easy. There were moments when she doubted herself, when she wondered if she had made the right decision. But with every passing day, Adamma grew stronger. She realized that true love wasn't about finding someone who made her feel needed. It was about finding someone who loved her for who she truly was, someone who respected her and saw her as an equal partner. Adamma's journey wasn't over. She had come to terms with the fact that love would come when the time was right, and it wouldn't come at the expense of her self-respect. She was happy, fulfilled, and thriving in her career and life. She knew that the right person would come along, not because she needed them, but because they would complement the life she had already built. As she walked into her office one morning, the sunlight streaming through the windows, Adamma smiled to herself. She had learned to love herself first, and that was the greatest gift she could ever give herself.
If you've enjoyed Adamma's story, don't forget to like this video, comment with your thoughts on self-love and empowerment, and subscribe to the channel.